Hello everyone, this is Nikian of Nikian Photography. You can visit my blog. You can find the link for that at www.nikian.com. That's Nakean.com. This is a recent shot I did of a friend of mine and fellow photographer, Erin, composite. And I had a couple of people ask me if I would, show you or show everyone the layers that I used in order to get this composite. It's not perfect. I'm still learning. I'm learning every single day. But with each composite, I get just a little bit better. And hopefully I can help anyone else get better as well. Okay, so we're going to start with the very beginning, which is the background layer. This background layer I brought in as a smart object. Now, the great thing about bringing anything in as a smart object is the fact that I can double-click on it on any time during my edit, and I can make any adjustments I need to make. If the exposure is not quite right, it doesn't quite fit with my composite, I can change that. If my exposure is too dark or too bright, I can bring it down. If there's not enough contrast, I can increase it or decrease it. You get the idea. I'm not going to go too far into it, but if you can, it's really amazing to work with smart objects. Okay, so with the background, there we are. And then I'm going to import in Erin. There she is on her Kawasaki awesome motorcycle. So there she is. There's the background. There's a lot of work to be done, yes? Okay. So the first thing I did with the background is I made the dirt a little bit darker because it looked like gravel. I really wanted to look a little bit more like dirt. And with that, all I needed to do was take a curves adjustment layer to the background. Here's the background here. Here's the curves adjustment layer. And I brought down the midtones here, which also consequently brought down some of the highlights, some of the shadows, but mostly the midtones here. And this is the result of that. Okay, obviously, if you do this to the entire image, that's what it's going to look like. But I used a layer mask, which you'll see I have a ton of them. You should use them whenever you can because you can go back and forth without having to start from scratch, and it sucks to start from scratch, so please use layer masks. Okay, so there's my layer mask speech. There's a layer mask. Finished there. Okay, so I added another adjustment layer. The same curves, close to the same curves adjustment, honestly. Looking right here, brought down the midtones, and then I painted it back in, and I painted it in just under the tires. As someone posted earlier, I may have, I probably could have used a little bit smaller brush when it came to the trail here, but it looks okay. Okay, the background. So this, I believe, is another curves adjustment layer where I just increased the blues, as you can see here. I think maybe the greens just slightly as well. But if you can see the difference between this image, between Erin and the background. The background is a lot warmer. Erin's quite a bit cooler. I took this obviously outside, and it was natural light, and I'm not sure where my white balance was. But Erin was in the studio, and the white balance is quite a bit cooler. So I cooled down the background by increasing the blues. And there is a result of that. Already, this is looking much more like a composite. She seems to be anchored a little bit more. Okay, so I added smoke as well. This is this layer here. And all I did here, so I'm going to delete that. All I did here was I added a new layer. Okay, and then I went up to filter, and then I went down to render, and then I went and rendered clouds, and that gives you this. Okay, not quite what you're looking for, right? But you can again add a layer mask, which is amazing. Use layer masks, please. And painted back the clouds just where I wanted them. And that is the result. Again, just lightly painted them on. nice soft brush, probably about this big, painted it on underneath, over here, a little bit behind the bike, and that was the finished result, which I like. Okay, so then what I did, I needed to add some like dirt kind of coming up from here, or like she's driving through a puddle, something, to help anchor to the background. And what I did was use a set of brushes that I downloaded a long time ago. They're awesome. If you just Google liquid Photoshop brushes, there's so many to choose from. It's crazy, and they're free. You can find plenty that are free. I'm sure there's some awesome paid ones, but there's lots that are free, and you can see some of them here. Okay, and so all I did here was click on one of these brushes. So I've got a brush selected, and then I created a new layer, and I painted with one of these brushes on here to get the kind of liquid coming up. And if you hold down Alt, you can actually select the colors that are already here. So I kind of tried to select one of the colors that was already here, and this was the result of the first kind of splatter. It's not that noticeable, but you see a little bit. There's some kind of over here, there's some over here. Let me get back to a normal brush because it's kind of hard to see where I'm pointing when I've got this giant splatter brush. There we go. Okay, so again, with it's over here, it's over here. Now, the problem is it came out quite a bit too light, so I added, guess what? Another layers adjustment brush. They're amazing. Use them, please. Okay, layer adjustment brush right here, or layer adjustment layer. Wow, someone can't speak today. So here's the adjustment layer, and this is what it looks like applied. So now you can actually see these splatters right here. There's nothing I almost always do with 99.9% of my composites, and that is a little bit of atmosphere in between the background and the subject. And so the subject layer is here, bike and rider, and I put it between the bike and rider and the background, which is down here in front of all this other stuff that's going on. Okay, and that is that there, and it's a really subtle thing, but it tends to make a really big difference and really helps to sell the composite. It's only in at 21%, so let me show you what it looks like at 100%. So there it is at 100%, and you can tell a little bit more what I did. I took a brush, I did that same Alt. You hold down Alt, and you can select a color that you find at the background. Looks pretty good, but then I come over here and I click on it, and I find a little bit more of whatever color I'm looking for. But I at least start from something that's already here. Okay, so once I have that selected, I have the brush, nice soft brush, and I paint from behind her, out, out, till I get something that I'm looking for. But it's not finished there. That's not what this is. It still looks very much like brush strokes. So then I go up to filter. I do a Gaussian blur. Where are you? Blur. A Gaussian blur. Alright, I choose a Gaussian blur, and I mess with the, I believe it's a radial, until I get the desired result, so it looks something like this. Okay? And then we're not done though. So then with that same layer, I will go and I will add filter. I'll come down to noise, and I'll do add noise, and I'll just a tiny bit of noise, very small radial to the noise radius. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying radial. Just very small radius to the noise, and that will make this much more believable, because this whole entire image has just a little bit of noise. It's digital. I shot at 100 ISO, so there's not a lot of huge noise, but in any digital photograph you're gonna have some noise, so I added it to this. And then again, I'm not at 100%. I lowered it down to, I think, what did I say, 21%, something like that. Okay, so again, now that I lowered it down, it's almost like it's not there anymore, right? But it is. It's there. Okay, so next on the list of things to do with this image, we are riding a bike, or we're supposed to be riding a motorcycle, right? And if you're riding a motorcycle, I would imagine that the wheels would be, I don't know, spinning, maybe, just maybe. Okay, so the winds are the wheels are spinning. Let's get rid of all of this. So there's the wheel. I had to cut it out. All right. Because I'm going to make something blur or spin. I don't want the fork to spin because that's not going to spin. I don't want this right here. I think has something to do with the brakes. I don't want that spinning. I just want the wheel, the spokes, the disc brake right here spinning. Okay, so like I said, I cut that all out. There's no fork anymore. There's no cable to disc brake. I just have the wheel. And I went up to... I tried to cover a couple different things. If you guys know anything better, please let me know, because I would love to. But it's blur. I came down, I did blur filter, blur, and motion blur. And I changed the angle, so the angle was kind of downwards. You know, the same angle that wheel should be spinning, and that's what I came up with. Okay, I did the same thing with the rear spoke, so let's bring that up over her. There it is. There's the rear. I cut it out again and made just the outside spin. Okay, I didn't make this spin. The foot peg's not in it as well. The sound is not in it. That's just those things. Okay, so that just helps sell it just a little bit more like it's actually moving, okay? Alright, we're getting there, Alright, so this is the dirt that, I did some dirt behind here, but this dirt is in front because it's on top of her. It's on top of the layer. So if it's on top of the layer, it's going to show up in front, not just behind. All the stuff that I've already put in here has all been behind the wheels. This is all in front. So here's in front as well. And again, I did the same thing. I tried to grab some color down here, but it looks very gray and not like dirt or anything. So I added another layer, adjustment layer, curves adjustment layer, brought down the shadows, and that's what it ends up looking like. Again, these are just splatter brushes that you can get online, anywhere. You don't have to pay for them if you look at the right places. And they're amazing. You can do all kinds of stuff with these guys. They're really cool. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Dang it. Now this is not where it needs to be, but that's okay. I'll figure it out. I swear. I will, I promise. Okay. Why are you still over here? Let's get that over here. Sorry, I'm special. Come on. Yikes. Man. Okay, there we go. Overall curves adjustment layer. So this again is just to bring down, bring down the shadows, bring up the highlights, just to add a little bit more contrast to the image. There you go. Cool. Okay, so then this is back to this kind of stylized thing that I'm really into now. I've seen a lot of photographers use it. I've been trying to do with Gaussian blur and haven't had a lot of luck with it. I haven't really liked how the photos turned out, but I really like this technique. And that is to reduce the noise. I use filter, noise, bam, reduce noise. I turn it up to full for the first pass. But mind you, I do make 2 copies. So these copies, I stamped this whole thing into one, and then I Control J, and I made another copy of it before I did anything else. So I had 2 of these that were just normal before I added the reduced noise. So there's a reduced noise. I actually added 3 of these, sorry. But yeah, so there's a reduced noise. Here is a hard light. So I changed the blend mode to hard light. And I just reduced the opacity to 30%, and it adds this nice, hey now, there we go. Adds this nice contrast, and boosts the colors a little bit. I really like it. Cool, huh? Okay, so I reduce the noise, which obviously takes out some of the texture. You lose some of the detail. And I have added that back here with this high pass filter, had a radius of 1. So just a radius of 1 high pass filter, and I only painted it in where I wanted it. Okay, so that's without it. That's with it. I just painted it like on the helmet. I painted it on the gloves over here. Some of this right here. Definitely the boots and the engine bay. Again, here's without it. And here's with it. Boom. Same thing with the forks. I did it there. Love it. Love it. Okay, and I'll pull out of there. Okay, so then I added another reduce noise layer because I add this high pass layer. It didn't really do it that much, but it can add a little crunchiness to your images, which is not what you want. Like the eyelashes looking a little crunchy. You don't want, when you add that high pass layer, when you add the extra sharpness, you don't want the image to be crunchy. So I added another reduce noise layer. Bam. Alright, and it makes it look a little bit more cartoon-like. You can't really tell on the web. When you see this image on the web, it's not going to look quite like this, but if you were to print this out, you would really see that it does look like anime or cartoon or something like that. Okay, and then the last little piece I added, just this last second I added this in, which is a high-pass layer, but with a larger radius of around 7. And it just makes the edges stand out a little bit more, makes it a little bit less cartoonish. Not a ton, but a little bit more detailed. And that is the final image. There we go. So again, I'm just going to run through these layers really quickly. There's background, bam, made the dirt darker, boom, added the dirt track underneath the bike. Made the background cooler to match with Erin a little bit more. Added our smoke in because we need some smoke because it's a motorcycle. It's an engine, combustion engine. And we added some dirt, but the dirt wasn't dark enough, so we added an adjustment layer to make it nice and dark. Then we added the atmosphere in between Erin and the background to make her anchored a little bit more. There is Erin. Hello, Erin. And then we added some more blur to the tires, so it looks like they're actually spinning, the front, then the rear. Then we have the dirt in front of the tire, but again, we add a little bit more dirt, but again, it's not dark enough, so we added the curves adjustment layer. It's nice and dark now. And then we have the overall curves to make everything darker, and then we have the reduced noise to make it look like a cartoon, but it's too cartoonish, so we add a little bit of contrast, and we add a little bit of detail, and then we make it a little bit more cartoon, and then we add a little bit more detail again, and that is the finished image. Thank you for watching. My name is Nakean Wycliffe. Again, the website is Nakean.com, Nakean.com. I have a blog on there where I will eventually post this video as well. If you have any questions, concerns, anything that you'd like to learn, let me know. Leave a comment. Thank you.